Hey guys, and welcome to an episode of the SoFLo Sports Show, episode 139. It's your host, 305 Sports Dave, co-host Lou from Dave.
What's going on?
And guys, I just want to say this very clear. It is only Wednesday. And the amount of South Florida sports news that has happened in the last 48, 72 hours, I mean, just one of those stories are wild. And we're dealing with so many.
Yeah, no doubt. The Dolphins obviously made some moves. One quarterback out, another one coming in. And that was obviously the headlines right there. But look, the biggest story, we also got March Madness coming out. The Miami Hurricanes have a great chance to make some noise in the tournament. They're going to make their ACC debut tomorrow in the tournament as the number 3 seed. But they have the bigger eyes on the prize of March. So we'll see how they do there. And but look, the big story in town right now is what Bam Adebayo did last night at the Kaseya Center. And if you've been sleeping under a rock, he had 83 points last night, and it does not look real, to be honest with you. It looks fake that he put up that amount, especially him. His previous career high was 41 points, so he doubled that and plus a point. So just absolutely incredible what he did, and wow. I mean, what more can you say? It
was extraordinary. And just a few nights before, he also set another record. And the thing is, his girlfriend, she was not in the building for that. And she was like, man, I missed one of the biggendest games of his career. And then he goes and drops 83 points like a few days later. So
that's right. Yeah, no, it wasn't really a record. It was a milestone. He ended up getting his 10,000th point.
Yeah.
He's only the second member of the Miami Heat to do that. Of course, joining Dwayne Wade to reach that mark. So that's a big deal. He's going on his 9th year, just 28 years old, been an all-star several times, 2-time Eastern Conference champion, fell short in the finals both times. The first time was in the bubble against the Lakers. And, you know, he was hurt that series. Had he not been hurt, had Goran Dragic not been hurt, Goran Dragic been hurt, he might have had a chance to win. So he could have been NBA champion by now. But he's looking like a Heat lifer that's going to continue to put up stats. He's going to pretty much have his name etched across the entire Miami Heat record book. So what more can you say?
Yeah, so he joins this list. So we were watching the game last night, and you were great. You and Tim Reynolds. Shout out to both of you. I mean, we want to give our pal Tim Reynolds, who was on the show a week ago.
Well, by the way, put this picture up before we get to it. So while we're mentioning Tim Reynolds, you got the book? You want to bring the book really quick? I'll grab it.
Sure.
So
guys, when we had the episode with Tim Reynolds about 2 weeks ago, we mentioned that we were going to do a raffle. He authored a book called The Miami Heat, an illustrated timeline. We bought a copy of it during his book signing, and then and here's the book. And so Tim offered to sign a copy to a winner. So we have the names all ready to go. We're going to do that in a little bit, so stay tuned for that.
That's right. So if I tagged you on Facebook or on Twitter, this is the book. This is not the book you're going to receive. This is actually Ashley's book, which is not
You're not getting that.
Which is not only signed by Tim Reynolds, but also signed by, you see here on the right side, my right, your left, I guess, Coach Spo signed her book. So can't get this one, but Tim Reynolds will personalize
a copy for you.
Sign a copy for you if you are a winner. If not, you could always go out and buy it. It is a tremendous book. All the Heat history, minus what happened last night, is in this book.
So let's check in the chat. So everybody in the chat is pretty much contestants. We have Miami Mike from the West Coast. Hi, guys. Hello. We have Russ, March Madness. You know, March Madness is coming up, but it is like a week of March Madness in South Florida sports. Adrian, what's up? What's happening, beautiful people? What's up, beautiful person? Rockin' Noel, Jeremy, who's desperately trying to turn me into an FSU fan. No, sirree. And then Russ said, I want Ashley's book. Russ, we will be fighting. That's fighting words. You're not getting my book. Okay, guys, so let's go back to Bam. Last night, they're playing the Washington Wizards, one of the worst teams in the league. It's a Tuesday night. And first quarter, Bam puts up impressive numbers. He has like 30 points in the first. 31. And that's arguably sometimes what players average per game. So he was off to a hot start.
Well, not average per game, but it could end up in a game, yeah.
Yeah. We could say a player ended up with 30 points in a game. So what he ended up in just like the first quarter is kind of where some players say, hey, that's what I got for the game. And this just continued. And this continued, and it continued and continued and continued and just did not stop. He was a force to be reckoned with the whole entire game. Now, of course, you have people saying, oh, he got a lot of his points on free throws. Oh, they played the Wizards. It is what it is, guys. Now, as he was scoring more points and more points, you and Tim Reynolds were keeping track. You're like, okay, he beat this guy, he beat this guy, beat this guy. So want to highlight, of course, the late and great Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant had a record of 81 points scored in a game.
Yeah,
go ahead, though.
Yeah, so no, before we get to Kobe, a little bit of Heat history, which I had known because I'm a day one Heat fan. They came around when they started the inception of the franchise in 1988 when I was just a kid. So the fact that you take a picture, the fact that he was making his way into the record books Heat wise before he got to that Kobe level, the number that I always remember as a kid was 56 by Glenn Rice. That was a big number. And then that was broken by LeBron James, a game that I was actually at as well, against the Charlotte Bobcats, who are now the Charlotte Hornets. So that number was 61. Yeah. And he passed that in the third quarter. On the last possession of the third quarter, he had 60 points. He broke loose for a dunk, and his 60-second record-breaking point came on a dunk at the end of the third quarter. So oddly enough, and Spo didn't say this, Coach Spoelstra did not admit this, but had that not have happened, had he not have scored, I think he would have rested him in the fourth quarter at the beginning, and then the whole mindset would have been to try and break LeBron's record throughout the fourth quarter. But once he broke that record, I think he just said, hey, let's see how many he can get. Yeah. And boy, did he get a lot more.
It was wild. It was just nonstop. And, he wasn't like running out of gas. And you could tell he was playing aggressive and they were putting fouls on him. So as much as they were putting fouls on him, Bam was going for shots and it was fantastic. So
Juan is in the chat. Hey, Juan, yes. We're going to draw the names in a second here. You are in the contest. And then Jerry mentions that Alonzo hit 50. I was also at that game. And oddly enough, it was against Washington as well. Now, back then, they were known as the controversial Washington Bullets. You can't say that anymore. But he was going up against George Murasan in that game. And I saw Alonzo's 50 burger at the old Miami Arena.
Yes, so as it was an extraordinary night for Bam Adebayo, his mother, who is a regular at these games, Mama Adebayo, you can find her. She sits behind the Heat bench in the corner. She was at the game. His girlfriend, Ajaya Wilson, was at the game, and it was fantastic. Asia. I don't want to say Ajaya, sorry. She was also at the game as well. So where does Bam now fall into the list of all-time scorers? So going back to this picture, Bam ends up passing Kobe Bryant, the late and great Kobe Bryant, who had 81 points, rest his soul. And on TV, they were kind of saying maybe they're going to pull him out at 81 because Bam idolized Kobe Bryant growing up. Like, this was one of his favorite players. So we thought, hey, maybe he's going to be tied with Kobe all-time record. And that's kind of what the TV announcers were leaning towards, that it was going to be done at 81. Joke was on us because Bam had another one in him, which ended up being 83. Now, 83 is not the record for all-time points scored in an NBA game, as you guys may or may not know. This man right here holds it, 100 points in a game. Now, what's interesting about this record is that there is no live footage, recording on your phone, on TV of this actually happening. So somebody told me today it was almost like the man on the moon. Did this really happen? We want to believe that it did happen. So we're going to leave Wilt for 100 points. And Bam now has the number 2 highest scoring game in NBA history.
Yeah, and this is an iconic photo,
so
black
awesome.
And white. It's used by whenever there's big moments in sports, people do memes. I did it actually when the Dolphins, I did it with Bam also, but I did it when the Dolphins hit 70 points against the Broncos a couple of years ago. A lot of people put Tua's face on Chamberlain or Mike McDaniel's face on Chamberlain. How that didn't work out so well, as both those guys are gone now. But yeah, whenever there's a big milestone in sports, the Wilt Chamberlain picture comes out, and it's an iconic photo. As you mentioned, there was no archival footage, so ended up just having a guy scribble 100 points or the number 100 on the paper and hand it to him. He holds it up, and it becomes a classic. And of course, Bam, as you showed previously, recreated that picture by a Heat staffer giving him the paper with the 83 on it. And there you see Bam rocking it. I personally would have liked it more to be in black and white as a tribute to Wilt, but hey, Bam is in his own category there.
It's also 2026, though.
Yes, true. Ironically, both Wilt and Bam wore number 13. Of course, Kobe wore 8 and then 24 at the end of his career. So just, again, there's 3 guys in the history of the NBA. I think I saw last night it was 75,000 NBA games have been played to date, and this has only happened 3 times. And Bam now is the second all-time leader in points scored in an NBA game. I honestly cannot still believe that this took place.
Yeah, so guys, if you missed it in person at the Kaseya Center, you got to be at the Kaseya Center tomorrow. First of all, they're doing 2 different promotions. I don't know if you know yet, so I'm going to tell you. I'm fortunate to have a Bam Adebayo jersey already that I'm wearing, thanks to my lovely husband who gifted it down to me, kind of like hand-me-downs. So I love my Bam.
I can't wear it anymore.
Okay, I just want to say that. Okay, thank you. I'm
you.
like the little sibling. So I inherited Lou's Bam Adebayo jersey, which I love. So tomorrow, they're actually going to be selling Bam Adebayo jerseys. Guess for how much?
I don't know.
$83.
$83. All right, of course. Duh.
It's not going to be 13, Lou. Our economy's not that good. $83. So, guys, if you can make it to the Kaseya Center, $83 Bam Adebayo jerseys, because these jerseys, I know you paid more than $83 for this.
Way more.
Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, they also have a special on tickets. Guess how much the tickets are tomorrow? Special tickets.
$83.
13. No, I'm just kidding. $83 tickets. So guys, tomorrow, and there's going to be a whole big deal about Bam tomorrow. Tomorrow, Giannis and the Bucks come to town, so that's already a great matchup as it is. If that didn't sell you enough, and then it's going to be a whole night honoring Bam.
Yeah, you know what I love about that as well is the fact that Giannis is coming into town, Giannis and Bam have played scrimmages and all that together, but they know each other. They're well versed with each other. Obviously the Heat have flirted with Giannis here, and the fact that he's going to be in the building tomorrow night, see that firsthand, and hopefully he decides that he wants to be a part of this, part of the culture, and hopefully there's some recruitment legally done tomorrow. Hopefully within parameters that does not draw any red flags, but hopefully Giannis gets a nice preview of what it would be like to be a member of the Miami Heat tomorrow night.
It's also, speaking of Giannis and Bam, they've also played against each other in the Olympics when Greece has taken on Team USA. So, they've played each other within NBA and outside of the Olympics. So they know each other very, very well. So, again, congratulations to Bam and Heat culture.
I want to, just a couple more things I want to say about this. Look, it was definitely a historic night. You play this game for a championship, and save from championships, you play to witness greatness. And so you think in baseball to be able to witness a 3,000 hit, but there's a countdown to that, and my point here is that you never know what you're going to see when you buy a ticket to a sporting event. It's not like a play or even a concert. You can go to the best artist of all time who's selling all arenas out, but there's still, that what's going to happen, right? There's a set list made prior to the show. Maybe the performer goes off the beaten path and plays a special hit or does a riff to a song that he or she hasn't played in a while. But the set list is made before the game, before the concert, before the show. If you go to a play or on Broadway or a movie, you know what the ending's going to be. In sports, you never know what you're going to get when you purchase a ticket. And in this case, anybody, and by the way, tickets were not expensive last night because of the lowly Wizards, but the people who went there last night and were able to witness that in hand saw something that they will never see again. It's not even like, well, it may happen. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it was just a tremendous moment for the Miami Heat. And super proud and super happy that Bam was able to put up that historic number. Yeah,
and the Heat have won, 6 straight? They're on a winning streak.
6 straight. They're hot. Ever since Dwayne Wade said that there's no buzz in Miami, well, they're on a heater right now. And Bam Adebayo just set a major milestone record, passing the late, great Kobe Bryant and just shy. Well, not just shy. He was still 72 points away from Wilt Chamberlain. But second to Wilt, you're a pretty good category there. And I want to say one last thing here. Yeah. A lot of people were saying, well, he was going up against the Wizards. Well, that's BS. I mean, if it was that easy, there's been a lot of bad teams, a lot worse teams than the Wizards to play in the history of the NBA, including some Heat teams, specifically the inaugural team, which I love, but they weren't a good team at all. So if it was that easy to score 80, 83 points, anybody could do it. There's a lot better, scorers out in the NBA than Bam Adebayo. And so hats off to him. They were triple teaming him down the stretch. He was getting whatever look he wanted. He was willing his way to the basket. Creating foul opportunities where he got to the free throw line at a record number pace as well. So I don't want to hear the backlash as to who he did it against and how bad the Wizards are and how he was taking all these shots. He earned that MFer.
Agreed. One more thing I just want to add about last night. They also made mention that Simone Fontecchio, right, our Italian god down here playing in Miami, he was the second highest scorer. And Simone is a good player. Is he the greatest? No. But the fact that he was the second highest scorer, he was like the man in the locker room because he was the second highest scorer. So shout out to the whole Heat team last night, especially Bam Adebayo. It was a wonderful, memorable night that we'll always remember forever. And guys, get to the Kaseya Center tomorrow for your jerseys and also your Heat tickets because they are on sale.
There you go.
So
Adrian points out haters going to hate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Bam could have had 90, no doubt. He sat sometimes there. He did, give up some balls that maybe he could have shot himself. So, and he left 7 free throws, even though 36 out of 43 is pretty darn good. But he left 7 free throws on the board. If he shot the ball as well as like a Damian Lillard or whatnot, he would have had 90. So, no doubt.
Of course. Okay, guys. So switching gears, I kind of hinted into what I want to speak about next when I said Simone Fontecchio and Italy. Speaking of Italy, shout out to the Italian World Baseball Classic team. And I want to take the lead on this because this is something I'm passionate about. Obviously, baseball is, my favorite sport. Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic is an American team because these guys essentially, a John Birdie, a Jacob Marcy, will never see playing for Team USA. They just don't have the talent to be on that roster.
For now, Jacob Marcy, hopefully.
They don't for now. Let's for now, right? For now.
Yeah.
Okay? So they don't have it for now. So because of their Italian heritage, whether that's through their mother, their grandmother, their roots, they're able to represent the country of Italy and play for Italy in the World Baseball Classic. An underdog, right? An underdog, fair to say.
Yeah, no, big time underdog, yeah.
Yeah. So, and on the roster, you look at this team, there's only 3 guys on that whole roster who are actually born in Italy. Now, you look at the DR roster, that whole team is born in DR. You look at the Japan roster, everybody, is usually representative of their country. Italy is not like that. You have guys from Ohio, from Jersey, from Pennsylvania. Long story short, this Team Italy beat Team USA last night. And Team USA is one of the favorites to win it all. Next to, of course, a Japan and a DR. But Team USA with Captain Aaron Judge really had no business losing that game last night. But Italy ended up winning. And now USA tonight may be eliminated from the World Baseball Classic. This is an extraordinary game that's all depending on Italy playing Mexico. So I want to pull this up and kind of tell you guys how this is going down.
While you do that, the World Baseball Classic has been absolutely terrific.
Extraordinary.
Just a lot of great games, a lot of great competition, some unreal performances. We were at a couple of games featuring the Dominican Republic down here in the Miami Pool D, and we've seen some unbelievable talent out there and some balls that were hit, hardest balls that I've seen hit leave the ballpark. So. Yeah,
no, we're very fortunate to – hey, Cap, the Cap's in the house as well. Shout out to Cap. We're very fortunate that as Miami Marlins season ticket holders months ago, back in September, we were able to secure the strip. And so I was able to see DR on Friday and Sunday. You joined me Sunday.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, you were able to see Nicaragua and Venezuela. And Venezuela is another hot team. So we have been very lucky and blessed to be able to see these teams of all-stars down here in Miami. So anyways, okay, Lo, sorry. How tonight is going to shake out? So if Italy wins versus Mexico, Italy's in, right? Italy advances and USA advances to the quarterfinals. So if you are going for USA, you want USA to advance, you got to cheer for Italy tonight too because they have to win in order for USA to get in. So Italy gets in, USA gets in. Bada bing, bada boom, that's done. Now, if Mexico wins and Italy scores 5 or more runs, then Mexico and USA advances to the quarterfinals. Another scenario. Last scenario, Mexico wins versus Italy and scores 4 or less runs. It's 4 or less runs. Then Mexico and Italy advances to the quarterfinals. So there's no direct path per se. Again, if you are Team USA, you want to be cheering top notch for Italy to win because Italy and USA will win tonight.
Yep. No, that's that's what we want. You want Italy to beat Mexico and get the United States into the quarterfinals. There's a little bit of a mix up there with the USA manager Mark DeRosa. Love D-Row. He's great on TV. Was a really good ball player as well. But he kind of said prior to the game that the United States had already advanced, even with a loss last night. And he was wrong, specifically because of the, as you just mentioned, the run differential, which is the ultimate tiebreaker. And that is what the Americans are leading on right now. They need that to be a high-scoring game. That game first pitch is in about an hour. So we need that to be a high-scoring affair for the Americans to advance to the quarterfinal. And then ultimately, if they win that, they'll make their way down to Miami for a chance at getting back to the championship game.
And the reason why he automatically thought that is because DR and Venezuela already both advanced being undefeated. So that's what he thought going into the game. He was already advancing. So It happens, but hold your horses. You need Italy to win tonight. So
yeah, and you mentioned Venezuela and the Dominican Republic are already in the quarterfinals, as are Japan and I believe Korea.
It's Korea.
And then Canada just advanced now, which knocked out Cuba, and Puerto Rico is in. So the final spot on the line right now is tonight. Huge game between Venezuela and Dominican Republic, but both those teams are on through already. They're just they're playing for the right to avoid playing Japan in the quarterfinals. But yeah, the last spot is going to go to 2 of 3 teams: Italy, Mexico, or the United States. And I'm hoping it's the Americans. I think a lot of people out there are as well.
Definitely, guys. So before we completely shift gears and talk about the Dolphins, because that's where this kind of all started on Monday, I just want to bring up one thing. Thank you to everyone who tuned into last week's raffle. It was myself and Lou and Ian and Mike with Dolphins Talk. We raffled off the Richmond Web jersey. We have another raffle going on. Big love for Big E. We have a Jason Taylor raffle, so you can get a signed Jason Taylor football, Hall of Fame football, and a bobblehead. This raffle is going to run till tax day, April 15th. We're going to be promoting this a lot. So, guys, please, if you can, buy a raffle ticket, buy a lot of raffle tickets. All proceeds go to supporting Ian and his family trip to Alaska on an Alaskan cruise this summer. All right, so let's back up to Monday. So we're kind of like slowly getting back. The whole baseball thing happened yesterday, yesterday. But Monday is where like everything just hit the fan. Monday we found out, Monday morning before 12 o'clock, that Minka Fitzpatrick is being sent to the Jets. Really, out of all the teams, you have to go to our rivals, the Jets. Fine, okay, it happens, right? Then we find out Tua is going to be gone. Tua will be cut by the team. Dolphins are going to take a $99 million dead money hit. That is the largest in NFL history. That is ridiculous. But you know what? If that's what it takes to move on, next chapter, so be it. So by 12 o'clock on Monday, we found out that Tua, for sure, is no longer our quarterback. So all our speculations, all the tune-ons, this and that, we know our answer. Tua will be off the team very, very, very soon officially. Then we find out Minka goes to the Jets. Then 3 hours later, we find out that this guy,
You got the Minka.
I know, I'm getting there, right? I'm going to circle back. This guy, Malik Willis, Green Bay, shocker, will be coming to Miami. And I say shockers because this is becoming a Green Bay South, obviously, with John Eric Sullivan and Coach Halfley. So, again, let's back up a little bit here. We had Minka traded to the Jets. Your opinion on this, Lou?
Yeah, I never like trading within the division, but look, Minka doesn't fit what we're trying to do here, which is a total youth movement. To sign him for a 3-year deal at this point makes no sense. He would be wasting his final good years here with us. I don't like trading into the Jets, and I thought we could have gotten more for him. 7th round pick isn't that great, but it's a piece that we're getting back in order to start our youth movement. I like Minka, good player. It's unfortunate it didn't work out. He just happened to be playing down here twice in his career where the team was looking to rebuild, and he's the odd man out. So the move made sense, but I just don't like trading him to the arch rival Jets.
The next move that makes more sense is obviously releasing Tua. This has been, I don't want to say dead weight for a long time, but in order to turn the page and start a new chapter is inevitable. And we kind of got a glimpse of that, Doran, when we met the Dolphins head coach, Halfley, and John Eric Sullivan. We got a really good hint that this was the direction they were leaning towards. They didn't say it. They said, obviously, they're going to compete, but they are a man of their words, and Tua is no longer with the Dolphins. We also found out later in the day that the Atlanta Falcons have picked up Tua, so he will be moving up to the Peach State and be playing with the Falcons. So 2 lefties there. Yeah,
totally, makes sense with Michael Penix Jr. not being able to play, likely at the beginning of the year with his ACL recovery. He's a left-handed quarterback, as is Tua. So, they're banking on the fact Kevin Stefanski, the former Browns coach, who's now the head man in Atlanta, they're banking on him rejuvenating his career, and we'll see if that can take place or not. But look, Tua had to go. It's a lot of money. They're spreading the money out over 2 years, but it's a big hit, no doubt. But it's something that had to be done. They had to start fresh. They had to, get a new, new voice in the room, new voice specifically in the quarterback room, and this is a move that we all anticipated happening, and it had to be done.
And then Malik Willis, what you talking about? Willis will be taking his talents down to Miami. So he just has a handful of starts, so it's really hard to judge him like long term, as opposed to if we picked up a veteran quarterback. But hey, if John Halfley and John Eric Sullivan believe in him, I'm more than willing to give him a shot, and we'll see. So it's a 3-year contract. It's $67.5 million, and it's $45 million guaranteed. People are still saying he's going to have to compete against Quinn Ewers, but this is seeming like he's going to be our QB1. And so we look forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, right? You got to give the guy a shot.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, I don't think it's that big of a risk. Had he signed a 4 or 5 year deal, maybe it's a little crazy here, but a 3-year deal with its $45 million, essentially it's guaranteed, so you can get kind of out of it in 2 years if you need to. He's a former 3rd round pick, 86 overall from Liberty, went to school at Liberty, and he was drafted by the Titans, was there for 2 years, and the last 2 years with the Green Bay Packers. He had a handful of starts, did very well, was able to move the ball with his legs, has a cannon of an arm, can get the ball out quick and deep, make some good side throws across his body to get the ball in the right hands of his receiver. So, I don't mind the move. A lot of people question the fact that, why are we spending this money after just getting out of a big contract? But again, it's not that much money when you consider what we just finished playing Tua. And then the biggest selling point for me, and you mentioned it, is the fact that, John Eric Sullivan was involved in landing him from Tennessee in a trade. And then, the fact that Jeff Halfley, as the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, saw him every day in practice, saw him going against his unit. I mean, you can't be sold more than a guy that had that kind of a peripheral vision to see exactly what was going on with his mechanics, how to try to stop him, all those things. So for those reasons, I don't mind the move. And again, if it doesn't work out, you're able to get out of this in 2 years and draft your quarterback the following year, which I think was their mindset, regardless of whether they signed Willis or not to a contract.
Definitely. Just one more thing about Tua. Falcons fans on Twitter, on X, are not happy about Tua coming to Atlanta. I can't kind of blame you, but it was just something I just wanted to note, that Falcons Nation on X, they're definitely barking about Tua coming to Miami, or Tua coming to Atlanta.
Yeah, look, he's not coming off a very good year. He had a very bad year, as a matter of fact, and he is injury prone. They're dealing with their current quarterback that they drafted in Michael Penix Jr. coming off an injury. So why do you want to, take on more injury-prone players onto your roster? But the fact that, again, he's a left-handed quarterback in a left-handed system, it makes perfect sense. And they signed him for $1.5 million. I think 1.3 was the final number.
It was the minimum.
That's nothing, because the Dolphins are going to pick up the rest of it. So nothing to lose on that end. Adrian
wants to put out a question there. I have a question. Does it even matter if he works out or not? Because they're going to be looking for their guy in the draft regardless.
I agree, Adrian. I think that, I think that I don't know that we're going to draft a quarterback. I know they said they're going to draft a quarterback every year. They may do that. But I think they're targeting next year. And with the way the depletion of this roster, you're talking about all these guys being gone. Juan mentioned that Chubb is now with the Bills, so you got rid of Jalen Phillips, Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Tua,
Sanders.
All these guys that are gone. Minka's gone on defense. You just are not going to be able, in my opinion, to field a very competitive team. So, why then at this point, not make your draft of the quarterback the following year when you're likely to get a better pick? And so I think that's what they're going to do.
Definitely. And, we mentioned Chubb. This just happened within the last 2 hours. Bradley Chubb will be signing with the Buffalo Bills. Astronaut, as we call him down here, or what he's known as, will be taking his talents to Buffalo. So that's just
the Bills
another one bites the dust.
Yeah, the Bills have been doing this the last couple of years, trying to find an elite pass rusher. They've tried, Bosa this past year, a couple of years ago. It was what's his name? I'm forgetting his name now. With the Broncos, former Broncos, Von Miller. So they've tried this to get an elite pass rusher, and now they're banking on Chubb being the guy. Look, Chubb, unfortunately, he's had several injuries, and the hype that we got when he came down here from Denver and the expectations that he was, supposed to be getting in terms of double-digit sacks every year, I don't think that's possible. I mean, he still is young. The Bills are banking on that. He didn't do that really much down here, so we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, and then just when you thought there was a lot going on, obviously with the World Baseball Classic, and then bam, just breaking history in the middle of that. ESPN breaks. You're like, what the heck, ESPN? What do you got to tell me now that's more important than this? Max Crosby will not be going to Baltimore anymore. Supposedly, it's still pieces are coming out. So this is all allegations right now, but he didn't pass his physical is what we're hearing. And even more, supposedly he couldn't touch his toes. I want to know if you can touch your toes. Can you touch your toes?
Well,
all right.
Thank goodness I don't have to pass the physical. I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly, but that's a whole set of implications because now – what do the Raiders do with sending him out there? What they got, this and that. But yeah, we for sure know that Max Crosby will not be going to Baltimore to play with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and squad over there. So stay tuned for more of that. But that was just wild. It almost felt like it came from like a fake account and like, oh, just leave Max Crosby alone. And then all of a sudden that came out. So
yeah, and so look, it doesn't look like Crosby's going to go back to Vegas at this point. He already put a message out there thanking the fans and the organization and whatnot. So that's not possible, I don't think. So they're going to find a trade.
Dallas is. They're saying Dallas is a hot one for him.
Okay. The Ravens did end up getting Hendrickson from the Bengals. So they kind of replaced what they thought they had in Crosby with that. The other big news is that you had a Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker leading the Seahawks, where he just was named, as mentioned, the MVP of the Super Bowl 60, and he is now joining the Kansas City Chiefs. So Mahomes may not be ready to start the year, but they're going to have a really good running game with the MVP of the Super Bowl now donning the red and yellow colors of the Chiefs.
All right, guys. So before we get into this raffle, I know you're all excited because pretty much everybody in this chat is in this raffle, and it is an amazing raffle. One more thing, March Madness, one of probably my favorite time of the year. I know yours for sure.
Oh, I love it.
Selection Sunday is this Sunday. Both of our teams, yours Arizona, St. John's, they will be punching their ticket, obviously, going into March Madness as strong teams, yours being stronger than mine, but it's going to be great because as you know better than anybody, anything can happen in March.
Yeah.
So we are really looking forward to Selection Sunday. On Sunday, it is a national holiday for us practically where we sit and we're excited. But going on tonight starts the Big East tournament. St. John's, shout out to St. John, shout out to the Johnnies. They are the Big East regular season champs. This is back-to-back, first time that has happened in 40 years. So shout out to Zuby, who is the Big East Player of the Year, Rick Pitino. St. John's, again, Big East tournament did start today. We play Providence. We just found out that Providence won, so we will be playing them tomorrow at the Garden at 12 o'clock. Obviously, there's a lot of bad blood with us and Providence because of the Valentine's Day massacre that they wanted to start with us. So I'm excited to see St. John's destroy Providence at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Yep. And hopefully win the Big East tournament. Obviously, the big eyes is going to be on UConn with Dan Hurley, who is, I think he's still paying his fines. So we'll see that. So next week's episode, guys, as a heads up, it's going to be heavily focused on March Madness. We like to do this every year, kind of get a guest on here to go over just the bracket. We'll know by then where's everyone has been seated out, and we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, and you look, it's South Florida Sports Show, so we got to talk about the Miami Hurricanes that are also making some noise in the tournament right now. They got a double bye in the ACC, and they will be playing tomorrow against Louisville. So they are playing the 6th seed. They are the 3rd seed in the tournament. So that's a big deal. And look, Jai Lucas, you cannot say enough about him. More than any other sport, in my opinion, a coach can help you more in college basketball than any other sport, because if you're one of those coaches that have legendary status, and he's not there yet, but he comes from a basketball family. His dad, John Lucas, was a coach at many levels throughout his whole life. He's a basketball lifer, and he's been in the Duke system as a top assistant for several years. And when you come from Duke, you know how to do things the right way. And again, in March, when it's survive and advance, and every ball is contested, possession after possession, the shorter shot clock. A basketball coach who knows what he's doing can help you, in my opinion, more in college basketball than in any other sport.
I mean, it's not like he's 72 years old either. Talking about, whatever.
Right.
Anyways, guys, all right, let's get to it. So as you go get the bowl, when people do raffles, sometimes people put it in like a fish bowl. Sometimes they put it in a vase. Sometimes they put it in a hat. But Lou has a special, I don't want to say device, but Lou has a special hold cell for the names of the raffle who will be in this raffle. In order to have been in this raffle, you had to comment on the show that we had with Tim Reynolds. So we have everyone's name here who submitted a comment.
Show the names.
Okay, I mean, there's...
You're going to fold them now as we get into. But you guys are going to be playing for the right to win this book, the Miami Heat, an illustrated timeline. So this is what is at stake right here. So we're going to go ahead and do our drawing. And as Ashley mentioned, sometimes they use the circular, what do you call it? The rolling
wheel,
device,
something put in a hat, a fishbowl.
Correct. A bucket.
I mean, there's a pot, that's some cooking pasta. I mean, there's so much you could put it in, but Lou's very creative. Lou thinks things out that the average person doesn't think out.
Since
So
we're going to the Miami Heat theme tonight, I'm going to give something that looks, I mean, wait till you guys see this thing. But guys, if you're watching, well, we're not on X or Twitter, right? You couldn't get on there?
yeah, there's technical difficulties going on with X tonight. So I will post the show.
Okay.
But our faithfuls who are on right now are on YouTube.
All right, perfect.
They're on
So
YouTube.
you guys, if you're catching this on a replay or if you're in the room now, make sure you hit that like button. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do that. That is the best way to support the channel. Completely free to do so.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it a great deal. Okay, all right. So going with the Miami Heat theme, a lot of people don't know this, but 22 years ago, I actually coached the great Shaquille O'Neal's son. Shaquille O'Neal, the great Shaquille O'Neal, I coached his son in basketball, and he gave me a couple of pairs of his shoes. So what I'm about to show you is Shaquille O'Neal's size 22 shoe. You heard that right, size 22. And there it is.
You know what they say about big shoes, right?
Big socks.
Big socks. He's really big socks.
So this is Shaq's actual shoe. Can you put up your hand out so people can see the size?
I mean,
of the
I
thing?
played basketball. I have really big hands, but
Yeah.
I mean, even so, with my big hand here, let me guys bling out with my ring. Even with all that ice and Shrek hands, that's
so again,
huge. As she
this
said,
is Shaq's size 22
Adrian's
shoe
laughing at
here.
us.
So we're going to put all the names in Shaq's shoe. We're going to shake it up, and you're going to pull
Jeremy
the name
said he
out.
had to go. He's lying. He's right back here. Well, we all know it ain't Lou's shoe. Ain't that facts?
All right, let's go.
All right.
Show the name.
They're all folded.
But show it. We got to show
I
it.
just folded it.
All right, we got to show it. We're going to show
Here's
it.
everybody's name. Okay,
Yes.
I gotta do that.
All right, so
Go ahead.
Brent, you're going in the shoe.
Lou, quick, man.
Okay, we're
The
doing
game's already started.
1. You're going in the shoe. Help me out with a couple here. Paul.
Arturo
Arturo in the shoe.
here, I got you. Big C's, nice video to Busy today. It's Busy's birthday. Your video had me rolling. Also, Jeremy gave him a shout out. Speaking of Jeremy, there's your name going in as well. Bobby Finstock. Then we have Adrian, beautiful person, A-Tran, putting that in there as well. Richie Rich going in the shoe. Finn's Faithful Pod, gonna put him there as well. Miami Mike, he's still on West Coast. Shout out to you. Concha, that's Sweet Russ in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, where St. John's actually may land next week. Then we have Zulu the Activist, putting you in there as well. Then we have Vince, dropping Vincent. Then we have Eddie, Sweet Eddie, Nicaragua, putting you in there as well. And then Kirk, Captain Kirk, gonna drop you in the shoe.
All right. Okay, so I am going to shake the shoe up.
And Desi in the house. Hey, Des.
There's the Shaq shoe right there. His famous logo, Duncan.
Okay.
All right. So reach into the shoe.
Oh, I don't want to touch that. No, that's all you. Here, I'm not. That's at the end of the day, someone's foot that went in there.
All right. So I'm reaching in here. Here we go. I'm reaching deep in. Oh, I got a shoestring. That's not good.
Here, let me open the shoe. Like I'm putting on a shoe to a kid. Shoe.
All right.
Pull it. What do you
Okay.
got?
The winner is Paul Dean.
Well, that's international. So
Paul Dean.
yes, that book will be going to England.
There you go.
Outfit.
Oh, if you're in the
fantastic,
room,
sweet Paul.
you got the shoe. Well, it came from the shoe, and the book is going to you, my man. So congratulations, guys, everybody who participated. Thank you guys for playing along. And, congratulations to Paul. He is the winner of the Tim Reynolds Miami Heat book, an illustrated timeline.
Yes, but not the Shaq shoe. So I just want to make that clear.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, this episode had to happen today. Had to happen now because my tagline, there's a lot going on in South Florida sports. I promise you I will never say those words after this week alone because there will never be another week that has all this going on. +2 is gone. So, guys, here's to the next chapter of the Dolphins' journey. Shout out to Bam Adebayo for such a great accomplishment. And Team USA, may you cheer on Italy as loud as you can because it all depends on those Italian Americans tonight.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your night and rest of the week here. And yes, we will see you here next time.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Guys. Great night. See ya.